Tonight is the night, bright lights, high crowd. Yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night, A-list can't miss. When we burn it to the ground, everybody get down. Tonight is the night.
Hello YouTubers, welcome to Ignition Wrestling. I am your host, the Gavmeister, and this is my Raw review. Now I know this is coming very late on a Saturday, but I had some personal issues that really couldn't be avoided, and I really couldn't get to a computer, and quite frankly I didn't want to after what happened. It really was unavoidable, so I apologise for that. So there will be 3 videos up and coming today. Raw, SmackDown and Money in the Bank preview / predictions. So let's start with Raw right now. Raw opened with Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox in the middle of the ring with a ladder. Vicky cuts a promo and as usual gets incredible heat, you know, because she has a job evaluation coming up later in the night. So yeah, anyway, she's cutting a promo about how she's done a good job, blah blah blah, and how she's made 3 matches for tonight's Raw. These are Kane versus Christian, Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, and Randy Orton versus CM Punk. And she's announcing these while on top of the ladder, getting a load of heat. It was okay stuff. It's a pretty boring way to start off Raw, but you know, it could be a lot worse, and we got 3 matches made for later in the night, so you can't really complain at this. But yeah, I just didn't really enjoy it that much, to be honest. I mean, I don't mind Vicky Guerrero. I personally think she's a better manager than she is GM, but yeah, I'm just not sure I want to open the show with her. But yeah, moving on. Okay, and we come to the first match that Vicky Guerrero announced just before. We have Daniel Bryan versus the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. Both were pretty over. They were, and this made for a really great match. The crowd were into it. It was back and forth. You know, Daniel Bryan was intense as usual. Sheamus is his usual intense brawling self. Back and forth. You know, Daniel Bryan's going for the no lock, and then Sheamus reverses it into the clover leaf. You know, you think Daniel Bryan's gonna tap out, but he rolls up Sheamus for the 1, 2, 3. They must be seriously pushing Daniel Bryan, because now he's had clean wins over Orton and now over Sheamus, 2 of WWE's biggest stars. So yeah, he's in line for a big push. He has to be. I know there's rumours of Daniel Bryan going up against John Cena at SummerSlam. I'm not 100% sure, but he's definitely getting a major push, and I think he will be going for the WWE title pretty soon. Whether that's via Money in the Bank or via winning a #1 contendership or any other means, we do not know yet. But yeah, Daniel Bryan's entertaining as fuck at the moment. He's over. He's putting on great matches. So yeah, I'm all for this push. I'm not a big fan of his scraggly haircut and annoying beard, but as a wrestler and an entertainer, he's really good at the moment. Good match. They shake hands after it. Yeah, I'm not always a big fan of shaking hands, but great match, great entertainment, great start for Raw, in my opinion. Now we have a backstage promo with Dolph Ziggler, Big E Langston and AJ Lee. It starts off with Dolph Ziggler wanting to have a little word with AJ, who asked Big E Langston for some privacy. And you know, she's flirting with Ziggler. Ziggler's obviously a bit frustrated and a bit annoyed, but she sort of, you know, charms him, gives him a kiss, and everything seems okay. But you know, they're obviously teasing a breakup, but yeah, we'll get more onto that at Money in the Bank preview video, where I believe I'll go through some scenarios about what could happen. Anyway, this leads us to the second match of the night next, which is The Shield versus Tons of Funk. Now, it was an okay match, you know. I think Rollins and Reigns did their best with what they're given. I mean, you're not going to get a good match out of Tons of Funk, really. It's a solid match. Shield sort of controlled most of the match, and it ends with the spear on on one of them, Brodus Clay, I think, to get the win for the Shield. The Shield should be winning these matches going into the pay-per-view, making them look strong. And also, the Usos are looking strong with a few wins as well. So they're making the Usos seem like a decent threat to the titles. I think everyone knows that the Shield are going to retain, but yeah, I guess we'll see. That comes this Sunday at Money in the Bank, the Usos versus the Shield. But yeah, talk more about that in the Money in the Bank preview video. But solid match. You're not going to get much better than that. But yeah, I did enjoy it, but can't complain really. Okay, now we come to the John Cena and Mark Henry face-off. It starts with John Cena coming down to the ring. He's pretty over. And he starts cutting a promo saying blah blah blah, Mark Henry this, Mark Henry that. Okay, I'm here, now Mark Henry come out. So Mark Henry, you get the Mark Henry coming out to the ring, looking badass as he always does. They have a pretty good promo. Back and forth. I won't go into the specifics about the promo, I'm sure you all watched it. I enjoyed it. Cena wasn't terrible. Mark Henry was great, as he has been for the last month or two. I enjoyed it, and it ends with John Cena saying, okay, there's an imaginary line here, you come across this line and I'll kick your ass. And Mark Henry's like, nah, I ain't going to do that for free, you'll get that Sunday. Blah blah blah. Mark Henry goes to walk out the ring, and then he charges at Cena, bashes him over, or starts punching him or whatever. A brawl starts, and Cena goes for the AA on Mark Henry, and he can't quite pick up his weight, and Mark Henry squashes him. I enjoyed that. Mark Henry's kicking Cena's ass at the moment, and I'm loving every minute of it. Even if he does lose at Money in the Bank, I'm enjoying seeing Cena get his ass kicked because, yeah, it's better than Super Cena fucking going crazy and owning everyone in every single feud. But yeah, I think Mark Henry gives him the world's strongest slam as well, and then holds the title aloft, looking great with that WWE title. Come on, Mark Henry, you can beat that fuckhead Cena at Money in the Bank. Please, please win. I know you're not going to, but hey, we can all dream, can't we? Mark Henry deserves better with how great he's been in recent months. He deserves that title, but I doubt he's going to get it. Okay, at this point, we're very much into the second hour of Raw. I wasn't highly involved, but it wasn't a too bad Raw, but I was still interested enough to carry on watching. And we have a Randy Orton segment backstage, and a short interview basically saying how he's going to win the Money in the Bank, and he's not going to hesitate to cash in on a vulnerable opponent if the opportunity presents itself. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Blah, blah, blah. Randy Orton's pretty boring on the mic, but it wasn't terrible and it served its purpose. And he also says he's going to beat CM Punk later in the night. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing great. Nothing to really say about this, but it moves us to our next match. Chris Jericho versus Curtis Axel. Paul Heyman cuts a short promo before the match and then gives the mic to Curtis Axel to deliver a short promo, and God, his delivery is fucking terrible. He needs to work on them mic skills because that promo sucked, to be honest. The delivery was off, it didn't seem believable, he didn't seem entirely comfortable, but I'm sure with Heyman by his side, the mic work will come in time, and I'm sure he will improve because Heyman's one of the best ever on the microphone, and who better to learn from, eh? The match itself was good, back and forth. You all expect a good match from Jericho. Curtis Axel is very competent in the ring as well. He's not extremely entertaining, but he certainly is quite good in the ring, and like the mic work, it doesn't need as much as the mic work because he can still put on a pretty entertaining match. And I expect big things from Curtis Axel. I like him. I'm not extremely high on him, but I rate him very high, quite high, because third generation superstar. You know, he's got that knowledge from his father. You know, they always tend to be pretty good superstars. But yeah, Miz was on commentary for the match. He wasn't that entertaining, despite being pretty good on the microphone. But the match ends when The Miz distracts Curtis Axel, who walks into the ring and then gets a code breaker from Jericho, and Jericho wins the match. Curtis Axel seems a bit frustrated, but I think they're trying to build the match so it looks like the Miz is inside his head, and the Miz has a chance to win the match. And yeah, I expect Curtis Axel to retain, but you never know what with the WWE what they're gonna do. Curtis Axel sort of feels like a pretty big deal with the IC title. It's meant more than it has. I think he's the best champion we've had since Cody Rhodes, and I'm enjoying the reign. Let's hope it continues for a bit while longer, because if he holds that title for about 6-7 months, maybe even a year, it could really elevate that title and elevate him as a big time player in the company before he eventually moves on to a world title in maybe 3 years' time. Righty dokie, now we come to a backstage segment which starts off with the Rhodes Scholars. Damien Sandow talking first, saying if he doesn't win the Money in the Bank, then he wants his best friend Cody Rhodes to win it instead. Anyway, this makes Zeb Coulter, Antonio Cesaro and Jack Swagger turn up, who basically, he says some crap about real Americans, as they do. And then we have Wade Barrett turning up, basically saying he's going to win the Money in the Bank. A little argument ensues before before Fandango turns up and he does his typical fun, and Cody Rhodes tells him, "Do not say that." So he goes again, fun. Wade Barrett says, "Shut up, don't say it." So again, fun, done. And Zeb Coulter says, "Do not say it." So he stops, and then one more time, fun, done. And before he could finish, Wade Barrett punches him in the face, knocking him onto the floor. I thought this was really quite funny, to be honest, because Fandango was kind of funny in this segment, and everyone laughs as Wade Barrett punches him in the face, which I wouldn't call this great build for the Money in the Bank, but it amused me, to be quite honest, and it was quite funny to see Wade Barrett punch him in the face. I'm not a fan of Wade Barrett, but I enjoyed this. Anyway, this leads us to what was next? Oh yeah, Dolph Ziggler's. It was Alberto Del Rio versus Sin Cara. They have a pretty average match. It was okay. Crowd wasn't into it at all, though, really. And about 3/4 of the way through the match, Dolph Ziggler comes down to the ring. He got an okay pop for when his music hit, but he starts cutting a promo on Del Rio, blah blah blah, about how he tried to end his career. Then he tries to impersonate his Alberto before Del Rio attacks him. It felt awkward, to be honest. Dolph Ziggler's still in like this weird tweener stage where people don't know whether to cheer for him, they don't know whether to boo him, because the WWE hasn't explained his face term properly yet, and they don't know whether he's heel or face. So yeah, it felt a bit awkward. I didn't really enjoy it, but I'm a big Dolph Ziggler fan, so hopefully this improves. I'm not a fan of Del Rio. If you've listened to any of my previous couple of reviews, I think he's boring. I don't think he's got any charisma. His character's stale. He's good in the ring, but even his matches tend to be quite boring. So I'm just not a fan, guys, to be honest. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this match or segment at all. They don't explain who wins the match. I guess it was DQ and Del Rio wins. I don't know. But yeah, whatever. This was pretty crap. If you remember last week, Stephanie McMahon said Vicky will be getting a job evaluation on this week's Raw. And that's what we had up next. We had Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox in the ring, and the McMahons. Vince McMahon's music hits, and all the McMahons make their way down to the ring. Basically, you have Vicky explaining why she should keep her job. And then Vince McMahon basically says he thinks Vicky's done a great job, and he thinks she should be promoted to permanent general manager. Triple H basically steps in and says, nope, she's been shit, the fans hate her and they boo her, and they don't boo her in a good way, they boo her in a bad way. Blah blah blah. A back and forth between Vince and Triple H. And eventually, Stephanie McMahon says, okay, we had a vote earlier on in the evening. Should Vicky keep her job or should she lose it? Basically, 75% say she's been doing a bad job, and this leads Stephanie McMahon to say, you're fired. Vicky is fired. And she goes on a fucking huge temper tantrum. She's screaming, she's slapping the desk, crying on the floor, hitting the ground, grabbing hold of Stephanie. Please don't fire me, please don't fire me. And it was quite funny, to be honest. Yeah, her and Triple H and Stephanie leave the ring. And this leads to Vince McMahon cutting a promo. He basically says, well, I hope you're happy, WWE Universe. You could have made the right decision, but you made the bad decision. You made the bad decision for entertainment. Shame on you, and this is your punishment. This is what you deserve, WWE Universe. The new Raw GM is Brad Maddox. And Brad Maddox has this look on his face as if to say, what the fuck? He's completely astonished. It was quite funny, to be honest. He's basically given Brad Maddox the GM position as punishment for the audience. It was really, really funny, I thought. I think it's a really good idea. I really, really like Brad Maddox. And yeah, he's like, I think he get quite good heat, and he's funny in this weird sort of, I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing sort of way. I like the way he speaks. I like the way he's sort of given across this image that he doesn't have a fucking clue. I think he's quite a good actor in that sort of sense. And yeah, I think he's quite entertaining. I think it's going to be far better than when AJ was general manager, because that was annoying as fuck. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And this eventually leads to backstage. Brad Maddox says to Vince McMahon, I won't let you down. I'm going to do a great job as GM, before Vicky attacks Brad Maddox, starts slapping him all over the place, screaming at him. And yeah, that's where it all ends. I thought it was quite good. I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to Brad Maddox as GM. It can't be any worse than when Vicky was GM on her own. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, here comes my favourite part of the night. We have a match between Kane and Christian. That wasn't my favourite part of the night. It's what comes after. But we'll get to that. Kane and Christian have a pretty solid match, which you expect from Christian. He's a good ring worker, but yeah, this wasn't about this match. Kane ends up winning with the choke slam. Points up to the briefcase, basically saying, yeah, Money in the Bank, I'm going to win this. And then the Titantron goes all fuzzy, and we see Bray Wyatt in his rocking chair. He cuts an awesome promo, as he does. He's so good on that microphone, guys. He is so good. He is so entertaining. And yeah, if you haven't seen much of him, go have a look at his NXT stuff. He's really good on that mic. Anyway, he cuts a great microphone, basically, and it ends with, "We're here." And yeah, the arena goes pitch black, and here comes Bray Wyatt walking down to the ring with a lantern, and just in the background, from the light of the lantern, you can see Rowan's and Harper, and the mask. One of them's wearing the mask, and it's only bright enough so you can see the mask, and it's all creepy. It's fucking awesome. And he sits down at the end of the ring, blows out the lantern, the lights come on, and Harper and Rowan start beating the shit out of Kane in the ring. They're beating him down. It goes towards outside the ring. They throw Kane into the steps. They both pick up the steel steps while Kane's on the floor, and they bash him in the fucking head on the floor. And it was awesome. Fucking badass. Awesome debut. Bray Wyatt comes round, kneels on the floor, spreads his arms almost like a cult or godlike figure, and he's kneeling over Kane as if to say, I've conquered you. And it was just so awesome. Great debut. And some of the crowd started chanting Husky Harris. And, if you are one of them guys who did that, if you were in that arena and you happen to be chanting and you happen to be listening to this, which is doubtful, but if you were, fuck you. You're a fucking idiot. It was stupid. He's not Husky Harris. He is Bray Wyatt. Fucking hell. Why did we have to get these douchebags who have to be fucking smarky and fucking chant an old person, one of their old fucking names, one of their old gimmicks? Albert is no longer Albert. He's fucking Tensai. Don't chant Albert at him. It's fucking stupid. There's just no need for it. I mean, it's just dumb. I just don't know why you guys do that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on people doing that to I mean, I don't like it with Ryback either. Why chant Goldberg at him? It's just stupid. I don't get it. I mean, I don't even like Ryback, but I wouldn't do that if I was in the arena. It's just dumb. And yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Bray Wyatt, fucking awesome debut. Cannot wait to see what he does. Hopefully he gets put in the Money in the Bank ladder match, but you never know. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I'm sure most of you did as well, but hopefully there's lots more to come. Okay, moving towards the end of the night. Before we get to the main event, we had a quick Divas match, which AJ versus I can't remember who it was, but it's fucking crap. The match didn't even get started really. Caitlyn comes out and attacks AJ while the Bellas were on commentary, who barely said anything in that short amount of time. And yeah, that's it really. It was fucking crap, to be honest. There's not much to talk about there. And right before the main event, you had Vicky crying in the backstage, and then Ryback walks up to her and says, "You deserve better, Vicky. It'll be okay." And he hugs her. So I think, are they going to make Vicky Guerrero his mouthpiece and his manager? She's certainly better as a manager than a GM. And God knows Ryback shouldn't be talking on his own because he fucking sucks. If it was me, I think this is a very good idea, and Vicky is a good manager in the WWE, so I think this can only be a good thing for Ryback, to be honest, considering how his career's going. But yeah, here we come to the main event. The best in the world, CM Punk versus the Viper, Randy Orton. This was a pretty good match. Back and forth. Good action. I very much enjoyed it. It was a worthy main event. I don't think it was as good as Daniel Bryan and Sheamus, but it was certainly better than Kane and Christian, and this was the second best match in the night, but it was definitely main event worthy. I really enjoyed the match. CM Punk ends up pinning Randy Orton with the go to sleep, which leads to Daniel Bryan coming out. He runs down to the ring, gets a ladder from under the ring, and smashes it into both CM Punk and Randy Orton's faces. He attacked them both. Sorry about that. Just need a little drink there. Yeah, he attacks both Randy Orton and CM Punk with the ladder. Proceeds to place it in the middle of the ring. He climbs the ladder, unhooks the Money in the Bank, and starts his yes chant. And Raw ends with Daniel Bryan holding the Raw Money in the Bank briefcase high into the air. I thought this was a good show, guys. If I'm perfectly honest, it had some good matches. It had an awesome debut, and it had some pretty good stuff in, considering the last two Raws were diabolically crap. This was actually a pretty good Raw. I felt it had some shit in it, like the Del Rio match, the Divas bit. I wasn't too high on the beginning, but other than that, I thought this was a pretty good Raw. Best Raw for a couple of weeks, and I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty decent go-home show. But I'm not sure why Bray Wyatt debuted on the go-home show. But I'll talk a little bit more about that in my Money in the Bank preview video. But we'll see, eh? I quite enjoyed this Raw. Anyway, I won't babble any longer. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming to Ignition Wrestling. I'm your host, the Gavmeister. Have a good day, guys.